Hey there, basketball fans. Welcome back to the Dynasty Hoop Show. I'm Craig.
I'm Brad.
And today we're going to be talking about our All-Star selection since the ballots have opened recently. But first, we would ask you to subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell, help us expand our platform just a little bit further.
So now talking about the All-Star game. Now that voting has opened up, we know that guys like Derrick Rose are going to get several million votes. I think Yao Ming even got 6 million write-in votes last season. We're not talking about those guys. We're going to be talking about the guys who we feel deserve to be All-Stars based on their play this season. We broke it up between the East and West, obviously, even though the team captains are going to divvy them out how they will. So what we're going to do is we're going to break it down first with the West, going through our starters. I mean, honestly, the starters in the West should be pretty obvious. They're all MVP candidates. And then we're going to go through the East. So, leading off with the West, who's your number one pick, Craig?
I believe we decided on LeBron James because obviously he is still the best player in the league, best player on the planet. He can fill up a stat sheet in all the categories. He's a defensive force. And when he's coming down the lane for a dunk, just get out of his way. There's no point.
He's the king. It's a season of redemption, and he has been himself. What more can you say about Bron? And standing alongside LeBron in the starting lineup, we have none other than James Harden. He of the 38.3 points per game fame. James Harden lives at the line. James Harden rains threes. He is an amazing player. He is a monster in and of himself when it comes to putting the ball in the hoop. And of course, he is an all-star.
Coming up next, we've got LeBron James' teammate in Anthony Davis. He was an all-star for a Pelicans team that was actually pretty bad, and he was always starting. The guy's an athletic freak, and to top it off, he's got the skill to go with it. He's shined in LA. He's doing great. All-star.
And standing alongside those three, we have Finals MVP from 2019, the Claw, Kawhi Leonard. Now, Kawhi obviously has continued to be himself. He is a monster on both ends of the court. He scores. He hasn't been particularly efficient, interestingly, in LA, but still, he's Kawhi, still averaging 25 points a game, grabbing 8 boards, 4 assists, dominating defensively whenever he wants. The guy's going to be an all-star as long as he wants to be. And the hands, man. The hands. They're huge.
And rounding out our top 5, if you watch our videos, you know I stand for him. Luka Doncic. The guy is a second-year MVP candidate, triple-double machine, scoring 40 points a night. Okay, maybe not quite that. I think it's like 28.5. Third in the league. He's going to be a legitimate MVP in the future. He's going to win a title. He's an all-star. Easy. And it's not even close.
Now, if any of you disagree, please let us know in the comments. But if you disagree, we really want to know why, because I don't think it's very debatable, at least in the starting lineup.
That's a pretty solid starting lineup.
Now, there might be some disagreement coming with the bench. So we're going to talk about the reserves for the All-Star game, and leading that off as our 6th man is Kawhi Leonard's teammate, the guy that he recruited while under contract with Oklahoma City, the one and only Paul George. Playoff P himself. Paul George, since coming back from his shoulder injury, has been awesome. 25 points a game, still playing stellar defense. He's doing what he's always done. He is the ultimate Robin to another team, to another guy's Batman, and he does it at such an elite level. Of course he's an all-star. He was a top 3 MVP candidate last year, top 3 Defensive Player of the Year candidate last year. Definite all-star.
Next up on our list, we're going to hit the guard line with Damian Lillard from Portland. He is one of the most electrifying players in the league. We both love him. He played here in Utah for the Weber State Wildcats. The dude can score in bunches, and it's from anywhere on the court. I swear he stretches the court out to like 40 feet, and it gives the rest of his team room to work with. If anybody deserves to be an all-star, Damian does.
And joining that group of sterling individuals, we have the Joker himself, Nikola Jokic. Jokic is awesome. He is an amazing player to watch in the sense that he's a good shooter. He's an incredibly insane passer. There's probably 1 or 2 times a game when I watch him play where I'm just shook with the kind of passes that guy throws. Now, the Joker obviously is a little portly. He likes his food, but that shouldn't take away from the fact that he's an all-star, a potential MVP candidate when he's at his best, and the reason why Denver is the number 2 team in the West.
Standing beside Jokic in the front court, we're going to go tall again. Karl Anthony Towns. Now, his team might not be doing great, but the dude can light it up. He's shooting like 8 3-pointers a game, hitting them at a clip of 40-45%. That's the kind of talent you want to see in the All-Star game. There'd be nothing more fun to watch than him throwing up 13 3-point shots in 20-25 minutes of play. That'll be fun.
Now, what would the All-Star game be without the guy who regularly can drop 50 in an All-Star game? Yeah, that's right, boys and girls. I am talking about Russell Westbrook. The newly appointed Houston Rocket has, while his numbers have dipped due to the fact that he plays with James Harden, the fact is he's still putting up 22, 8, and 8. He's still Russell Westbrook. He's still an absolute force of nature. Can get to the hoop at will, can score at will, and can just absolutely will his teams to do whatever he wants. Russ is an all-star. Russ is fun to watch. Russ's entire game is built for the All-Star game.
Okay, we're down to our final two. We're going to get a couple of first-time All-Star selections here. First one is going to be Donovan Mitchell of the Utah Jazz. Now, if you watch Donovan Mitchell, he's averaging 25 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds on a team that is admittedly a little bit underperforming to preseason expectations, but is still doing really good. In their last 7 games, they've won 6 of them, and they've all been games that were decided by like 3 or 4 points. And at the end of those games, it was the Donovan Mitchell show. And it has been amazing to watch as Jazz fans. He's an all-star. And that's not a homer pick.
And rounding out the team, yep, look at the hat. I get it. Here come the takes. But it's true. Rudy Gobert, the Stifle Tower, Gobzilla, the French rejection. How is this man not an all-star? How was he not an all-star last year? Now, I get it. Some people are going to make fun of the fact that he cried last year. But at the same time, you don't know why he cried. You'd cry for your mom too. And on top of that, the guy's been a monster this year. 14 rebounds a game. He's averaging close to 15 points a game. He is the sole reason the Jazz have won half the games that they have, to be completely honest. Rudy should have been an all-star last year. He's a 2-time defending Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time All-NBA player, 12th man for this all-star team.
All right, those are our all-star selections. Obviously, can't pick everybody, and we can't pick your favorite players. So you're going to have to let us know in the comments, who did we snub, in your opinion?
Special shout out to Brandon Ingram.
All right, we're going to talk about the Eastern Conference selections now. This one was hard for different reasons because it's hard to find enough players to fill up the Eastern Conference team. We had to take a couple players from losing teams, but where do we start off with?
Well, he's not the best player in the conference, but he might be my favorite player in the Eastern Conference. I'm talking about Joel Embiid. I love Embiid. Who doesn't love Joel Embiid? Some people, crazy people. But he's having a predictably awesome season. The Sixers have been a little up and down, but due to no fault of his, it's mostly due to the fact that they have like 8 power forwards in their starting lineup. But he's blocking shots, he's dunking on people, he's talking trash, he's getting in fights. I mean, who doesn't love Joel Embiid? He's an obvious all-star, he's an MVP candidate, he's fun to watch, he's what makes the NBA great.
Next up, we've probably got one of my favorite players. He just seems like an all-around nice guy. I know that doesn't mean he deserves to be in the All-Star game, but his playmaking and his scoring does. Kemba Walker. He has turned that Boston team around from last year that had no chemistry. They had no mojo. They had nothing going for them last year except for 4th or 5th in the East and a second round exit. They look like one of the best teams in the East, and I credit a lot of that largely due to Kemba. He's an all-star.
And what would an all-star team be without a player from the Washington Wizards? That's right, Bradley Beal. I know the Wizards haven't been great. They've actually been pretty feisty, really fun to watch. They score a ton of points. But Bradley Beal is the truth. He scores on all 3 levels. He's great at getting to the hoop. He's a 3-point shooting machine. He can do it all. The guy has carried a team filled with questionable NBA caliber talent and made them really fun to watch. Bradley Beal is a multi-time all-star. He's going to make it every year moving forward. He is a stud, and I love the guy. He's got my stamp of approval.
Next up, you're probably wondering why we didn't lead off with him, but it's probably because he was too obvious of a choice. We've got the alphabet himself, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Nailed it, first try.
Greek freak.
We got the Greek Freak himself. He deserves to be in the All-Star game for obvious reasons. We don't need to go into it that much, but Milwaukee, best team in the East, best player on the best team. He's got to be there.
Not just best team in the East, best team in the whole NBA.
That's true.
And the fifth starter is a personal favorite of mine. Yep, I'm going with Pascal Siakam. The P train himself. He has been awesome. Watching that guy from where he was 3 seasons ago to where he is now is incredible. Watching him is so much fun. I watch him standing at the top of the key, trying to cross guys over, getting to the hoop. He can post guys up. He can shoot threes. He's athletic. He's a monster. He's the reason that Toronto has not skipped a beat since Kawhi skipped town. He deserves to be an all-star this year. In my opinion, he even probably deserves to be most improved player. Either him or Luka. They've both been absolutely phenomenal.
All right, starting off with the bench, sixth man's got to be Jimmy Butler. The Miami Heat are doing really well. They have the best home record in the NBA, at least as of a week ago they did. And it's really in part due to the defense and the intensity that he brings to that team. This is a different Jimmy Butler than we've seen him on other teams before. When you watch the Heat play, he is out there cheering on his teammates, he is out there deferring, and he is still getting his own. The guy has absolutely changed his image, at least for this year. Deserves to be an all-star.
His playmaking has been awesome. And following that up, the next sub that we've selected is Jason Tatum of Boston Celtics fame. Jason Tatum has really expanded his game a lot this year. He's averaging 21 points a game. He wasn't necessarily that efficient to start the year, but the efficiency's come way up. He's a defensive beast. Like, he is actually really underrated defensively. And he's kind of starting to turn into a bit of a clutch player for the Celtics. Kemba's Kemba. Kemba's always going to be Captain Clutch himself. But Jason Tatum's right there. He's making big buckets, doing huge things on both sides of the court. This is the first of many, many All-Star appearances for that kid.
Next on our list, we've got another player from the Bucks coming up, Chris Middleton. I really like Chris Middleton. I liked watching him in the offseason playing for Team USA. He was doing really good for them, and he's doing really good for the Bucks again. Last year he got his first All-Star nod, and all signs are pointing that he'll be there again this year. He's a great complementary piece to an MVP-level player like Giannis, and it's just great player, great teammate, great team.
And next up on our Eastern Conference All-Star roster, we have Ben Simmons. Now, Ben kind of gets a lot of flack. I do have to tell you, though, the guy's made 2 threes this year, so he's got that monkey off of his back. But he gets kind of a lot of flack for not necessarily developing or potentially being so much more than he is. But what he is now is really, really good. He is a pass-first point guard who happens to be 6'10 and 250. All right, that's completely crazy. He can get to the hoop at will. He dictates their offense in so many ways, and he's just such a talented player. Like, the guy's obviously an all-star on a really good Philly team. The fact of the matter is, now that he's made some threes, the sky's the limit.
All right, next up, we've got another player from the Miami Heat, Bam Adebayo. The guy has really improved his game. I know we've already talked about 2 players who are deserving of most improved, but we've got a third who's making his first all-star team. Bam has been great. He has been balling out for the Heat, and he's the second reason why they have the best home record in the NBA right now.
The thing that's crazy about Bam is he's a great passer. He's a great defender. He's a great rebounder. He does everything so well, and that's kind of what's cool about this Heat team. Like, they all do everything really well, and Bam is, in my opinion, probably the reason that they're the number 2 team in the East right now, ahead of even Jimmy Butler. Now, having segued from Bam, we're going to talk about another big guy who's having a really, really good year. The Indiana Pacers, a team that everybody sleeps on every single year. They have been awesome, and it was really hard to determine which of their 2 best players deserved to be an all-star this year, but we had to go with who I feel is their best player, Domantas Sabonis. Domantas Sabonis is great. For a lot of you, you might not remember his dad, Arvydas Sabonis. The guy played in the NBA in his late 30s and sometime in the 90s, and he could pass, he could shoot. He was really old and slow, but you could see just this amazing game. He was kind of Nikola Jokic before Jokic. And his son has a lot of those traits. He's a really good rebounder. He sets incredible screens. He's number 2 in the NBA in screen assists. He plays hard. He fights hard. He defends hard. He scores. He's got a nice jump shot. He can get to the hoop. I feel like he never misses anything within 5 feet of the hoop, ever. He deserves to be an all-star, and he is the catalyst to why Indy is such a good team.
Okay, let me try that one more time. And rounding out our final spot, we've got another player from a bad team, but we both feel like he deserves this spot. It's Trae Young from the Atlanta Hawks. The guy can shoot lights out. He's a little undersized, but that doesn't stop him from filling up a scorecard. The rest of his team, they're not really doing a whole lot, and the only reason that they're winning any games right now is because of him. He deserves to be an all-star, even in his second year, but that's also because the East is so thin on players that we can add there. But Trae Young, he deserves it.
He's averaging almost 29 points a game. He gets to the line a lot. I mean, yeah, the Hawks aren't very good, but where would they be without him?
Yep.
It'd be a dark and dreary place. So let us know. Give us a comment and tell us what you think about the Eastern Conference All-Stars, if we had any snubs, if there's anybody that really deserved to be on the team, if anybody that is on the team doesn't deserve to be there. Personally, I'm a fan of Spencer Dinwiddie. He's probably my number one snub. He's a great player, and it's kind of funny to see how good they are without Kyrie.
Once again, if you can help us out by hitting that like button, subscribing to our channel, and hitting that alert notification so that you can help us expand our platform a little bit more, we would greatly appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.